This crucial moment deserves your attention. I know you've been out there getting the bag this week, but come on in the house, y'all. Put the bag down. We got a lot to talk about. Fix you some coffee, tea, or a good stiff drink of spirit water. Okay? Hey, did y'all know that brother made or originally distilled Hennessy? I didn't know that. But anyway, y'all, we got a lot to talk about. Welcome back to Earth Tones. I am your hostess, Kat Moon. We are already well into September. It is my birth month. Happy birthday to me. We'll be talking some more this month, but we need to catch up with week one so that we can move forward. I do my very best to uh, uh, make these videos short, but there's so much to feel within a short period of time. It's hard to do. But as I learn, I will be better at preparing at in time for the first of the month. But what happened on the first was Saturn went retrograde in Pisces. So it is now back at 29 degrees, the anaretic degree. I'm setting my timer here so that I can stay within the parameters of time. Uh, we're in Virgo season. We're in Virgo season, so we're setting out our parameters, looking at the details, looking at our regimens, whether they need changing or adjusting in some type of way. But when Saturn went retrograde back into Pisces, we're revisiting these Piscean themes that have been transpiring since March of 2023. Whatever important themes were going on in your life or related to losses, barriers, limitations, and restrictions will return to the forefront to make sure that we learn the lessons necessary to take away from the experiences that we may have gone through at that particular time. But this is the time to either get it out the mud or let it go. So Saturn teaches us sobriety, discipline, and maturity. I'm also learning these things as I learn the technology and the smart way to put together these videos so that I can bring the information to you. At the same time, I'm also still growing in my spiritual and my soul journey, uh, uh, identifying myself as a soul coach. I kind of like that name, soul coach, as opposed to what is uh life coach. That's the that's the common identification these days. But those born between the years of 93 and 94, you were experiencing your first Saturn return back in March 2023. And during that time, whatever things and experiences that you were going through during those times are being revisited so that you can bring closure, put a cap on it some kind of way, or imagine the next chapter in your life. And so think back as to what was going on during that time when you were experiencing your first Saturn return between the age of late um, age 28 to age 30. Something significant, graduation, baby, marriage, loss of a parent, loss of a sibling or a child happened at that milestone in our lives. Those born between the years 63 and 64, you're experiencing your second Saturn return, or were experiencing your second Saturn return between March 2023 and May of 2025. And so these themes are back. Perhaps in your second Saturn return, you have put in your years of service to your job, and the reward is retirement. So therefore, you're thinking about when you want to take it to the house and chill and create some new memories for yourself. Do some traveling or what have you. You've earned it. Okay. And so think back to what you were going through or the themes that may apply during this particular time because these things are at your front door, giving you the opportunities and the potential to create the next chapter of your life. Now, Neptune is one of the outer planets, the higher octave of Venus, and it is sitting right there with Saturn. Excuse me, giving us these opportunities to create change in our lives because these outer planets haven't been in these configurations in many years, different years and different cycles for each, but they make a revolution around the sun in a span that is longer than our lifetime, whereas our more personal planets that are before Saturn, which is Father Time, which is why we give it Father Time. It is that bridge. Some call it the Rainbow Bridge between our visible planets and the outer planets that are more generational and collective in our consciousness. But Neptune rules water and is related to water events. So Pisces is where Neptune rules, and Saturn is there now. And so we are going to see more water events, Neptune being already retrograding. And guess when it went retrograde? 4th of July. So you're going to see a lot of synchronicities related to the United States, which is experiencing its Pluto return. We're going through the healing process, and that's one of the things that I've been putting together are the synchronicities and patterns that are related to the things that we're seeing and what we're going through. So Neptune is already showing its color so far. So we've seen the U.S. Fire upon boat in the Caribbean and just annihilated. That's Pluto, just annihilated, So Neptune rules drugs. Not saying that they were carrying drugs, but the accusation or the assumption itself is falls under the significations of Neptune, which rules illusion. So are you keeping abreast of your dreams? You should be keeping a dream journal. Those of us that have strong Neptunian placements in our birth charts are experiencing strong dreams, visions during the day. Some of us are realizing our clairvoyance, clairaudience, clairsentience, and of the other senses that are a part of the occult and invisible realm. But on the first, Saturn went retrograde. On the second, Mercury entered Virgo, and we're now in Virgo season, and Mercury is going to whiz through Virgo in 2 weeks because Mercury is the fastest planet among our planets, and it makes a revolution around the sun every 88 days. And this is a season, and so this is the difference in the tropical zodiac from Earth perspective, based on the equinoxes and the solstices, and Vedic astrology, but they are both related. And so I'm here to help us to synchronize our traditions and the things that we've learned along with these different disciplines. But on the second, Mercury went into Virgo. So we want to make the best of this time, whichever house Mercury rules in your birth chart, because Mercury is making a mutual reception to Virgo and Gemini. Gemini is the other ruler, or Gemini is the other sign ruled by Mercury, where we have Uranus, the higher octave of Mercury. So we have strong communication, commerce and community themes going on here. And we want to make the best of it. The outer planets are all at 1 degree. Another synchronization that we need to pay attention to. Therefore, themes of critical thinking and community and commerce, which is related to tariffs and securities and the stock market. These are all subjects that are going to be very relevant during this month. On the 3rd, they square each other, Uranus and Gemini. So here we're being presented with an opportunity to make some decisions and speak our minds. But we must be careful not to make hasty decisions. Uranus rules haste. And so we must be conscious of that, especially in Virgo, which requires us to look at the details, follow the rules, look at the details. Saturn is there to make sure that we're disciplined in that area, analyze the whole thing. Analytical thinking. Gemini presents us with the data. Virgo allows us to analyze it and criticize it. On the 5th, Mars moved into Libra. And Libra is squaring this Jupiter energy in Cancer that we're going to be talking about more next week. And this is a good time for creativity. Neptune rules creativity. Neptune rules the arts. And there we have it as a focus point right there with Saturn in between the two outer planets, Uranus and Pluto. Pluto being at 1 degree of Aquarius. And of course, Uranus being at 1 degree of Gemini. Now, this in Jupiter Cancerian energy is the Crusader energy. When we talk about that in detail next week, we're going to talk about the Crusader because they're going to be out there heavy next week, and you need to be aware of this because Mars being in Libra is attempting to bring balance to these ideologies and people who are differentiating the duplicities between the homeland, the family, the lineage, and all of these different subjects that are related to Cancer and the family and the family dynamic and the homeland. And with Jupiter being there, these ideas are expanded. But this is something that we must go through in order to balance this energy because this is what we are attempting to do. And 3-eye Atlas is this our interstellar visitor is there to make sure that we learn these lessons in leaps and bounds. Is bringing us this conscious energy from another star system that's allowing us and giving us the opportunity to ascend in quantum leaps and bounds. So we want to take advantage of this. But Uranus tomorrow, Uranus stations to go retrograde in Gemini at 1 degree. This is when the planets are at their strongest, at the early degrees, and also when they're stationing, they're very potent. And Uranus being there at the 1st degree of Gemini is going to highlight the subjects that I've mentioned above, the 3 C's: community, communication, and commerce. So Uranus is the cosmic waters of data and memory. And one thing I learned that y'all should know is the composition of water. We're learning that water holds memory. And so I was learning about plasma, okay? So the sun is composed of hydrogen, which makes helium. And so hydrogen is information, okay? This is what the cosmos is mostly made of. And so when the electron and proton separates, this is what produces ionization, which produces plasma. And one thing that distinguishes this comet or this interstellar visitor, because This thing is conscious. This thing has is made of plasma. It is approaching the sun with the tail facing the sun as opposed to trailing, and it has these unique qualities that we're going to have to make a whole video about. But it's all about Virgo. It's going to stop in a line with the sun and the earth in Virgo. You know, these synchronicities are crazy. So, I mean, I don't believe in chance encounters, okay? And so there are no chance encounters. This is guiding us into our higher levels of consciousness, making us we are becoming liquid crystal, according to one of my mentors in astrology, Pam Gregory. Heather Ainsworth was describing how Orion, which is Asar in ancient Kemet, the belt of Orion, the belt of Asar, how it aligns with Sirius, which we know, and that Sirius is a binary star with our sun. Now, it is of my opinion that we come from the supernova of Sirius B, and Sirius B is our home. And as it's supernova, of course, it became this iron, whereas a pinky has, you know, all of this weight that kind of puts me in the mind of Pluto. There is some type of connection between Sirius B, Pluto, and our moon, the closest orb to the Earth. This is just from my understanding, what I'm resonating with, what is coming to me. There is some type of connection. Anyway, moving on. Virgo is the star of the show this month. Okay, so lots of Mercurian energy and Virgin things, like how we speak to each other, you know, at the first degree, this is the quick thinker. You know, we're going to have some brilliant ideas, that light bulb moment, genius and critical thinking is going to light us up. You know, we're going to be able to take it apart and put it back together again. And in our minds, you know, follow through with the plan. And with the lunar eclipse happening, okay, with the lunar eclipse happening at 15 degrees Pisces, uh, you know, for the next 6 to 18 months, is, you know, we're going to be revisiting these Piscean themes, which includes uh, uh, these dreams and visions and paranormal experiences. Well, Pluto is going to trine Uranus, which went out of bounds. Pluto went out of bounds at the end of August. So this is just wild and crazy energy, crazy and deranged. Okay. So it went out of bounds the last time between 1938 and 1953. Now, y'all think about that. 1938, 1953, World War II. Okay, so meaning it went past the 23.5 degree of delineation below the horizon, whether you're north or south of the horizon, it went below or above the ecliptic, which is going to give us spurts of rocket fuel towards our revelations and our revolution. This position of these outer planets are all at the first degree, and this synastry is very important because it's indicative of harmonic expressions of the planets and harmonic resonance when they are communicating with each other and communicating with us. And so as they revolve around the sun and communicate with 3i Atlas, we're going to have a lot of upgrades and downloads. Okay, so I want to share my screen and see if we can get through this in a timely fashion because I want y'all to see this in the sky. All right, so there we go. I should know my way around this by now. And uh I always feel lost, but here we are with this app is called Stellium. Now, what we already have up is the constellations that are excuse me, between our ecliptic. And the ecliptic is this red line. So we're going to start over here with Libra and Virgo. Okay, so let's get rid of the atmosphere. We add atmosphere. We want to get rid of the landscape. All right. So the red line is the ecliptic. And what I want y'all to see is this is where 3i Atlas entered the Milky Way and entered our solar system. Now, this is the galactic center right here between Scorpius and Sagittarius, where we have what? Ophiuchus, the serpent bearer. So it's some type of theme, it's something for us to learn collectively with this interstellar object. It's only the third, thus three-eyed third interstellar object, which is named for the observatory that that discovered it. And so it came through Ophiuchus, or between Sagittarius and Scorpius, right near the galactic center, and it hit the ecliptic, and it's presently in Libra. Libra, the scales, Libra, where we have Ma'at, which is representation of Aset. Ma'at being balance, wisdom, uh, reciprocity, truth, harmony, and justice. And so it's telling us something here. And as it travels, it's going to travel and it's going to make its way 5 degrees over the ecliptic, hovering over Mars here in Virgo, where it's going to hover and it's going to line up with the Earth and the sun. Okay? In Virgo, here's the sun right here. Here's Mercury here, the planet of communication. Okay. And then we have Venus and Leo, and we have the sun uh actually right between Venus and Mars. Okay. And we have Jupiter here in Cancer. And now remember, when we are speaking about the exact location of the stars, we're talking about between 21 and 24 degrees uh, uh, behind where they appear from Earth's perspective. So uh, we're going to talk about these configurations next week because they are all so significant and uh, harmonious, if I can say the word properly. Now, here we have Orion or Asar down here. Asar being the ancient Kemetan preferred pantheon because it's the first, as far as I'm concerned. And so here we have the star Sirius, our great star, the great, mother star, and it is aligned with the belt of Orion. And according to Heather Ainsworth, another astrologer, astrological mentor that I like to uh, uh, refer to when I'm getting my monthly uh, ideas of what's happening in the cosmos. And just to kind of confirm that what I'm thinking is in line with what the more seasoned astrologers are seeing on their radar. But here we have Orion here in alignment with Sirius, and the point being that this position of Orion, which is also aligned with the center of the Earth, which is where we have the Great Pyramid or the Great Mirror in ancient Kemetic terms, is showing us something. Is showing us where we are experiencing the precession of the equinox, which is the great year. We have the three rotations of the earth, the day, the year, and the great year. And when it is corresponding with the yugas, we are coming out of the Kali Yuga. Some say we ended the Kali Yuga in March of 2025. And so we're at the halfway point of that 12,000 year mark. Now, if you're aware of the geological changes that we are learning about, then you are aware that this was when the Younger Dryas took place. And this was the cataclysm reset that took place 12,900 years ago. And so this is another indication that we're at a crucial point in our life cycle. Okay. And so this alignment here is showing us that. Now, moving on. There we have Uranus, which is actually at the the 1 degree of Gemini, and Jupiter, if we move that 21 to 24 degrees, we'll see that in Cancer. But I just wanted you to see these planets on the ecliptic. And of course, there's the moon back there in Capricorn. And when we have this lunar eclipse coming up on the 7th, then you'll see where it is sitting at 15 degrees of Pisces opposite this Virgin energy, this Virgo energy. And I zoomed in so you can see how close in proximity Neptune is to Saturn. And Neptune, of course, being an outer planet, they are communicating between the two of them. So let me get out of here and move on to the United States birth chart. So the United States birth chart, we have Sagittarius, July 4th, 1776. July 4th was when I just said that we had something take place. I'll remember in a second. That's when Neptune went retrograde. Okay. So these outer planets, planetary glyphs are the transiting planets where they are right now, as we saw them on the ecliptic. This is the natal chart of the United States. And so as we can compare where they are, we see where the United States Mercury is lined up with transiting Jupiter here in Cancer. And being that the United States Sun is in Cancer with the birth date of July 4th, 1776, we have the Sun here, which is sitting beside Jupiter in the United States birth chart. So as Jupiter transits, we see that, we're experiencing this energy of Jupiter, which is highlighting the themes that are very current and prominent in our news cycles today. Okay, so here in Virgo, if we move over here in the United States charts, we see the meridian line, which we call the MC, is right here slicing between the house of Libra and the house of Virgo, where we're going to have this lunar eclipse energy opposing us here in Pisces. But we have the Sun and Mercury here, and we're going to be having Venus transiting soon. But Venus and Mars is bookending this Virgo energy. And now keep in mind that 3i Atlas is moving through this energy as it came through this area here. It's kind of moving this way and it's going to move out of the solar system somewhere between, let's see, somewhere between Cancer and Gemini, or Cancer and Leo. So that's going to be important because it's going to hover over Jupiter as it moves through Virgo. It's gonna, well, as it goes this way, it's gonna hover over Mars, 5 degrees. Mars, the action planet. Mars, the influencer of our decisions, of the warrior planet. It it's gonna make it do what it do. Okay, so then we're going to move on to this sorrow cycle. And I want you to see this because as this man and the serpent energy, Uranus, we're talking about the Aquarian god of the cosmic waters, and Pluto, the serpent of the underworld, transformational energy. Think about the serpent uh significations, or the serpent symbolism. We're talking about the serpent that sheds its skin, and we're talking about cobra energy, and in the Hindu tradition, the Nagas. We're talking about Kundalini energy, the serpent of the Garden of Eden. We're talking Norse energy, where they and Chinese energy, where they represent or recognize the dragon, whereas in Celtic and Welsh traditions, they look at the dragon and serpent energy as wisdom and benevolence, and they use the dragons and serpent energy to represent protection for their temples, or their monoths and sacred sites. But this particular lunar eclipse coming up on September 7th, which is going to round up the week, is in the Saros cycle 128. Now, the Saros cycle also pertains to your personal chart, and it happens every 18 to 19 years, 18 years, 11 months, and 3 days. Okay, so from the time of your birth, you were born in a certain sorrow cycle, and wherever that began, every 18 to 19 years, the same thing that was present at the time of your birth is going to be present in your life. And that's also the case when it comes to where we are here in our collective consciousness and our collective experiences. And so when I look up the Saros cycle 128, which is where this lunar eclipse falls, the first one took place October 25th, on record, October 25th, 1502. Now, listen to these synchronicities, y'all. That Saros cycle fell at the first degree of Taurus. Okay? Taurus. Now, let's think about the things. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. But, well, first of all, before I stop sharing my screen, I want y'all to look at some of these dates. Okay, that one was the first one, 1502, at the first degree of Taurus. And then I wanted to kind of go through and see if I recognize some recognizable dates, and eclipses that might jump out at. Okay, and the one that jumped out at me was 1863, was 2 years before the end of slavery, where we had the lunar eclipse at 10 degrees of Sagittarius. We had 1953, which I mentioned, was when Pluto was last out of bounds, between July 1935 and July 1953, where we had Pluto out of bounds. We had total lunar eclipses in Capricorn and where? 3 degrees of Aquarius. Okay, so this is where Pluto is right now. Pluto is at 1 degree of Aquarius. All right, so now we're becoming into our lifetime here, where that's 71. Then you have 89. Now think about these dates, uh, if you're old enough. But 2007, and here we are, September 7th, 2025 is when we're going to have our next lunar eclipse. But the last one, 2007, August 28th, 2007, what was going on then? Because we had a lunar eclipse at 4 degrees of Pisces. So we're talking about a lunar eclipse in the water sign of Pisces, and that's the year before we had the market crash of '08. Is one of the things that I can remember. And then, of course, in 1989, we also had a financial crisis. Now, when I think about before I close this out, the first Saros cycle, which was in the sign of Taurus, the bull, it causes me to think of bull themes. And so, of course, when we look at the Temple of Hathor, we're talking about Apis the bull. We're talking about that period of time, as well as we're talking about Wall Street. We're talking about the beef industry, all things that are related to bull energy or cow energy, fertility. When we're talking about the symbolism that is associated with Hathor or Het Haru. So this information or this energy is going to be present in this lunar cycle that we're experiencing for the next 6 to 18 months. Okay, along with this serpent energy that we are experiencing with Ophiuchus and the focus on Ophiuchus. Okay, so Ophiuchus, when we think about the different um symbolism that relates to the serpent, Kundalini energy. As I mentioned, the cobra in the Hindu tradition, which includes the Nagas and those others. But Jaramungander is the Norse dragon that I was trying to think of. But this Uranus energy also includes Shango. Shango in the Yoruba tradition, which is the god of thunder and lightning. And so all of these things are going to be present this month. And so with the three spins of the earth and the precession of the equinox and so forth, we are looking at ascending, or we could self-destruct and go through another reset. So it's up to us. And it only takes, according to Pam Gregory, another precious senior mentor of astrology that I adore her work, and I will put her link in the description box because she's so inspiring, and she teaches us how to drop into the heart space and how we are evolving to the um, um, erecto or homo illuminus, and making contact with all of these light workers and people that are in the space of higher consciousness and raising the consciousness of the planet. And you can too. And this is what I intend to help to interpret and translate this sacred science, this holy science, so that you can know your place in the cosmos. The things that I'm learning about myself is so exciting. I've become enthusiastic because what I've learned is that I am the messenger. I have Jupiter, the spiritual planet, at 5 degrees Pisces, where it rules high in the sky in my birth chart. And this is where the fixed star Fomalhaut is. So when we think about the fixed stars, we're talking about the four gospels. We're talking about the four archangels. And so we're talking about Gabriel, the messenger, who came to Aset, and uh, and Gabriel would be Toph, who came to Aset to let her know that she was going to give birth to the king. And in the Christian tradition, it was Gabriel who went to Mary to tell her that she was going to give birth to Jesus. And so these stories and so forth are allegories to help us to understand our place in the cosmos and our journey through the cosmos, our soul's journey. You know, this is Joseph Campbell's work, The Hero's Journey. I also like to include the Shero's Journey because we are going through a time when the divine feminine and the ascension of the divine feminine is what's going to bring us balance. It's going to bring us truth and reciprocity. And there's going to be resistance. And this is what we're experiencing right now. You know, the end of an era that is unbalanced. And it is up to us. And it only takes 10% of us, 10% of us to raise the consciousness of the planet so that we can move forward into a golden age, into a galactic age of consciousness that is not ruled by technology, but ruled by universal consciousness, universal intelligence. And not that we won't use technology and that it won't have a valuable place in our evolution and our usefulness in the future, but it will not overcome our humanity. So, on that note, get off my soapbox, and I wanted to mention some more mentors that I draw knowledge from. Steve Judd is another, and he and Rick Levine, they're another um, couple of mentors, good guys. But my brothers and sisters in my soul group, brother uh, James Small, Anthony Karak Browder, Baba Kaba, Philippe Shop Matthews, Michael M. Hotep, Dr. Clyde Winters, Ashrock Kwesi, Robin Walker, Dr. Marie Charles. You know, our diaspora is clicking with one another. We're bringing information to the storehouse. This is what Malachi 10 is about. Bringing, okay, the gifts and bringing the first fruits to the storehouse. Okay. Acts 2 is about our evolution and consciousness, speaking in different languages, speaking in our higher consciousness in the upper room of consciousness. So this is where we're going. I love learning, and this is why I'm late getting my videos out, but I'm gonna get better at that. Y'all, I'm gonna end this video. Check out geophysicist Stefan Burns. He was recommended to me by Pam Gregory. He gives a very comprehensive explanation of 3I Atlas and its nucleus, just to give you some highlights. It's like 40 kilometers wide, and by the time it travels through the solar system, it's going to be like 58 kilometers. I forget what the translation is into miles, but it's a lot of them. But this planetary visitor is not really a spacecraft, but remember, this thing is conscious. It's ionized, meaning that it has plasma, meaning that it has consciousness from another star system. And so when the nucleus and the plasma cloud around it is measured, it is half the size of the sun. Okay, so we're talking 450,000 Earths. So you mean to tell me that that energy, that gravitation, that radiation of consciousness, those photons 5 degrees above our heads, is not going to impact us? Okay, bet. All right. is moving 130,000, 37,000 miles per hour. Okay? Can you run that fast? Anyway, y'all, I'm going to pull a God's card real quick. Okay? African Goddess card. I just want to ask the ancestors if they can give us a message real quick. Y'all got a minute? Let's do that, okay? I'm gonna shuffle the cards real quick. Shuffle them so y'all can see. And I ain't into a whole lot of shuffling, but let's see if one jump out at us, and I'll read y'all what the message is. There we go. All right. All right, that was two. But we'll go with those two. So, let's see here. There we go. Ma'at and divine lineage. Bam. Let's read what they say real quick. Ma'at. Okay, Goddess Ma'at represents alignment, truth, and balance. Her name means order, as her father, Egyptian sun god Ra, rose out of the chaos and put her in charge of divine justice. Reset your harmonic balance. You are out of alignment. The sacred scales command you to give and receive. If you receive without giving, you are selfish and out of alignment. If you give without receiving, you are stuck in martyrdom and out of alignment. Giving and receiving is spiritual law, and giving time, money, service, resources, and good vibes. If you are a generous giver, cultivate and practice giving and receiving. And receive compliments, give joy, support, pleasure, friendship, money, and love. These are all the same to spirit. So the declaration is I give easily and freely, I receive freely and easily. And then we're going to go with Sarah La Kali. Sarah La Kali. Let's see if I can get the shine off that. There you go. Divine lineage. Remember, I told you next week, Jupiter in Cancer is going to highlight that. So here we go. Divine lineage, goddess of divine lineage. She was Romani, Egypt, and great ancestress Sarah Lakali, meaning Sarah the Black, was an Egyptian prophetess and the patron saint of Romani people. Oral history says that Saint Sarah had the highest divine lineage. Your ancestors protect the Holy Grail. The Holy Grail is you, divine ones. Walk beside and within you. Trust. Your ancestors want to remind you that you are not alone. They are rooting for you. They ask you to honor your spirit guides and call upon the power of the divine. Create or nourish your ancestral altar or shrine. Unbury your ancestors. Speak their name. Your divine lineage ancestors may be blood related or culturally or spiritually connected. I am my sister, and my sister is me. All right, y'all. Y'all take it light. Remember to click, share, and subscribe.